Hello, I'm Janet, and I'm excited to introduce to you Dr. Jeffrey Horn from Vision for Life. Dr. Horn is among the nation's premier ophthalmologists, specializing in advanced cataract surgery, LASIK, vision correction, and the treatment of a variety of eye conditions. Today, we will talk to you about a new revolutionary lens implant called PanOptix. It is the first trifocal lens approved by the FDA in the United States. Let's face it, as we get older, we may start to suffer from cloudy vision or have difficulty seeing close, intermediate, or at far distances. These symptoms may be cataracts. Most cataract surgeons will only implant basic lenses, which usually require a patient to wear glasses after surgery. There are multifocal lenses, but truthfully, they're really only bifocals. They only correct distance and near or distance and arm's length, but not all three. Until now, the PanOptix lens will allow you to see at all three distances and live glasses free. We're going to walk you through Dr. Horn's first PanOptix patient just days after FDA approval. Let's hear from Dr. Horn on this amazing new technology.
This new lens implant that was just recently approved by the FDA is known as the PanOptix lens implant. And it is a trifocal lens implant, and it is currently the first and only trifocal lens implant that's available in the United States. And that's what sets it apart from every other lens implant that's available in the US. Trifocal is a lens that will correct far, arm's length, and close. Now we have what we call multifocals, and we've had multifocal lens implants for years, but they're really bifocal lens implants. So they don't correct three distances. If you divide distances up into the range of vision up into three distances, there's far away, distance looking at mountains, driving a car, watching a ball game, watching TV, watching a movie. There's arm's length or intermediate, looking at your computer, your iPad, even your cell phone, looking at the dashboard in your car. For a woman putting on makeup, those are all intermediate based tasks, very important. And then there's close or near vision or reading, 16 or 17 inches away, reading a book, looking at something, close up, maybe even seeing a medicine label, but those have gotten exceedingly small. At least that's how I see it, and that's what we have. So we have bifocals, which correct far and arm's length or far and close, but we don't have anything that corrects all three. So we have to find out from the individual that's coming in that wants a range of vision after cataract surgery, or what we call refractive lens exchange, which is most important to you. We can give distance to everybody, but is arm's length more important than reading? If you had to wear glasses for a certain task, which would you prefer to wear them for? And that's what we go through with every patient that's interested in having a range of vision. And often we'll put two different lenses in. We'll put one that's far and arm's length in one eye and far and close in the other. And we have to jump through all of these hoops in order to meet the patient's needs as best as we can, but ultimately we're doing it with technology that only corrects two out of the three distances. The PanOptix, on the other hand, is a trifocal lens, and it actually corrects far, arm's length, and close all simultaneously, and all exceptionally well. And that's what makes it stand out amongst the rest. The PanOptix lens is mostly for patients with cataracts. In that cataract surgery, for 100% of people who have cataract surgery, is lens replacement. A cataract is not a growth or a tissue or a film that grows over the eye. Rather, it's a clouding of the lens that people are born with. And the eye is really just a camera. It doesn't actually see. It just simply takes the picture, streams the picture to the brain, and the brain does the processing. So the eye is a very elegant, complex camera. But not so complex that it doesn't have a lens inside of it like every other camera you've ever seen. And the lens in the body's camera, the eye, as we get older, gets cloudy. It also starts to lose its ability to focus. That's why people in their 40s suddenly start finding that they can't see up close as well, and they need to go into reading glasses. So that process, which is occurring since the day we're born, and the process of the lens getting cloudier, the cataract formation, is really all one and the same process. You really can't separate the two. And so when someone starts getting a cloudy lens in their eye and they start having difficulty seeing, driving at night becomes difficult, they can't see their golf ball, they can't see driving in the rain, the headlights bother them, it's hard to read for extended periods of time. Often they will have developed clouding of their lens, and that's a cataract. So when we see a patient with a cataract, we remove their cloudy lens and we replace it with an implant. So the single most important part of cataract surgery is really lens, the lens implant. That's what they're going to see with forever. And so that's why I like to change the story and have the patient not think of this as cataract surgery, but rather have them think of it as lens replacement. Someone who has a bad hip or a bad knee from arthritis doesn't walk around saying they're having or they had arthritis surgery. If someone said that, you'd say, what the heck is that? But they will say they had a knee replacement. And the knee that they got, the joint that they got, may be better suited for them than someone else, and the surgeon can pick and choose which is the best knee joint for that particular individual. And cataract surgery is lens replacement, and I have a whole multitude of lenses, lens implants, that I can put in the patient's eye. Some correct astigmatism, some don't, some provide a range of vision, some don't. And my job is to figure out what the best lens is. So cataract surgery is lens replacement. So at the end of the day, the better the lens you put in, the better the person will see. Now, that's the majority of the people who will have a lens like the PanOptix. That's the person who has a cataract that not only wants to see far away, but they want to have a range of vision. They want to restore their vision like they were when they were younger, or maybe even see better than they've ever seen before, because they can do all that without glasses, which maybe they've never been able to do. And the PanOptix also comes in a lens which will correct astigmatism. So for the 50+% that have astigmatism, we can correct that with the PanOptix as well. But the other patient that might be a good candidate for the PanOptix is the person who is, say, in their late 40s or more likely 50s, who hasn't really developed a clouding of the lens yet that's causing them difficulty, but they've noticed that they can't see as well up close, and they'd like to get out of glasses. And they might think that LASIK is the right option for them, and it might be, but for some of those people, doing a lens replacement prior to the development of the actual cataract may be the answer. And that will provide them not only the distance, but now with a lens like the PanOptix, a full range of vision, which LASIK cannot do. And so now you've got a patient who has been able to get out of eyeglasses for virtually all tasks, and will never develop a cataract later on. And so it goes against the notion that a cataract has to be ripe. In fact, you can take out any lens. It's a matter of the surgeon determining what the best procedure is for the individual. There's no knee-jerk kind of this person gets this and this person gets this. The surgeon has to figure out what the right course is for that patient. But PanOptix certainly would be a choice for those patients who are good candidates for what we would call refractive lens exchange. That's a person whose lens is no longer functioning well. They have a dysfunctional lens, but it hasn't met the level of cataract, but they want to be able to see without glasses, and the most appropriate thing would be a lens replacement as opposed to something like LASIK. I happen to know a lot about the lens implant, and I have a lot of knowledge about the lens implant because there were 12 surgeons in the United States that were selected by Alcon, the manufacturer of the lens and the inventor of the lens actually, that were involved in the lens's clinical trial, the US FDA clinical trial. So 12 surgeons in the US were selected to do that. I was one of the 12. And so about 2 years ago, not quite 2 years ago, we started the clinical trial. So my path with this lens has been going on for quite a while at this point. Everyone else that hears about it, they've heard about it, but they've never seen it and they've never used it. And they don't really know what it can do. They've just heard it from people like me who were fortunate enough to be able to use it already. And in fact, I had such good results and good success with the lens in the clinical trial that the very last person that I implanted was my better half. And she had congenital cataracts, which I had recently discovered, and I loved the lens so much that I thought it would be the best implant for her, and so she enrolled in the clinical trial. That was about 1.5 years ago that she did her surgery. What she can see blows my mind even to this day, and she's never worn a pair of glasses again, and I don't think ever will for the rest of her life.
We'll meet Dr. Horn's first PanOptix patient next.
Dr. Jeffrey Horn and staff at Vision for Life can change the way you live. If you've been diagnosed with cataracts, experience what thousands of patients have. The best vision for life.
Don't keep putting it off.
Get rid of the glasses.
Choose the best vision for life.
Cataract and LASIK surgery is my specialty. In minutes, you can achieve your best vision for life.
Call today at 615-800-2020. Again, 615-800-2020.
When I first saw Dr. Horn, I was tired of wearing my glasses. I had worn glasses for about a decade. I needed my glasses for distance, but I was the person that would take them off to have to read the computer or to take them off to read a book or whatever, but I would need them for distance. I'm an outdoor person, so just having to, the glasses falling off sweaty and just the inconvenience of it. So I was, originally when I went to him, I was hoping I would be able to get LASIK, and that's what I was wanting to do. And when I first saw him, looked at my eyes, but my age, I was not the best candidate for LASIK because of my age. I was close to cataracts, but not quite enough there. And so that kind of discouraged me. So I waited 1 year, and then I went back to see him again the second time. And between that year lapse, the cataracts had progressed. So once then that happened, that was a good thing, because then it was I was a candidate for the LASIK, or not for the LASIK, but for the surgery to remove the cataracts and then have the lens replacement. So that's when we started talking about what type of lens would be good for me. And at that time, he told me that there was, a variety of choices, and he told me, the one what would fit me. He mentioned that he was part of the study that for the PanOptix, and I originally thought I would want to wait for that, but then I was getting antsy and thought this could be a long time to wait, so I went ahead and did the surgery on my right eye. I'm a little bit unique in that I have one's dominant, and I can see pretty good distance with one eye and then very near in my left. But anyway, I had the surgery on my right eye with bifocal lens, I guess. I'm not sure the name of it or what. And it's great. I've got great now 20/15 vision in my right eye, and I can I can read a yard ahead of me or whatever, but I don't have that close up. I'm bringing stuff up right up to my face to read with my left eye. So I decided to wait for the PanOptix. He mentioned that it was coming out, and so I was hoping that it would come out before the year's end for my deductible. So anyway, and it did. I was surprised when they called me. From what Dr. Horn told me, the difference would be worth the wait because of you would not be beholden to glasses. I would have the best of visions, far, medium, and then be able to read fairly close up. So I would not need glasses anymore, no matter what I'm doing. So the cost or the waiting seemed worth it to have that in the long run, with the goal of not having glasses for anything. So to me it was kind of a no-brainer to wait and do it, and it was just exciting that it came out as soon as it did. I'm a teacher, So in my job, I have to see, that was part of the issue. I have to be able to see far away at the board, but then I'm constantly looking down at the computer, and I'm constantly looking at students, tiny, tiny little writing, and so I'm going to be able to do all that in pretty easily. That's my hope, that it'll be so much easier to do with that type of vision. Everybody said the surgery is so, it's the pre that gets you nervous a little bit, because there's probably 2 hours of just waiting, prepping, marking the eye. Of course, you have to have anesthesia, and so you're hooked up to IVs and they monitor your blood pressure and stuff. That's the worst part, because that's just waiting. But the surgery on my other eye was quite easy and not bad at all. I was worried about, keeping your eye open and having them operate on it, but it was not an issue. It was quite easy.
When patients arrive to the OR, and by the way, this OR is strictly eye surgery only. This is the Eye Surgery Center of Middle Tennessee. We have 5 surgeons who operate here, 5 surgeon owners. I'm one of the 5, one of the founding members of the surgery center. So I operate on Wednesdays. So when the patient shows up, it's typically about an hour or an hour and a half earlier than their scheduled start time. So let's say their patient is scheduled for surgery at 10. They might come in at 9 or 8:30 at the earliest. And like anything else, the paperwork is often the longest. So they come in, they get checked in, they register, and then the nurses will take them back to the pre-op area. The pre-op and post-op area are one and the same. So they'll be taken back to the pre-op area and fawned over by the very sweet nurses that are back there, and lay down on their bed, get comfortable. One of the nurses will put in the IV. The nurse anesthetist likes to give some relaxing medicine through that IV, and I like to call it I'm aware but don't care medicine. And so you're not asleep, but you're perfectly fine. And so they'll go over that, whatever questions they need to ask, and then the nurse anesthetist will do whatever they need to do. And I'll walk in and say hi, say good morning to the patient, good afternoon, depending upon what time their surgery was for. But in this case, patient comes in at 10. I'll walk in there not long after the patient arrives to that pre-op area, and I'll put my initials on their forehead and my JH. And the patients will talk for weeks after about the fact that they had so much difficulty removing that from their forehead. But I must not take credit for it, because I have to mark, and they give me virtually indelible markers to do it in. I've always thought about maybe just taking my logo and stamping on there, and it, as a good marketing. So we just try to make light of the situation. The patient is often fairly anxious, so I like to joke around a little bit. And so put my marks on there. Just before the patient is ready to go back to the operating room, so if they're having their astigmatism corrected, which is probably the majority of the people that I do surgery on, over 50% have astigmatism at the time of surgery, cataract and lens replacement surgery. And if you really want to get the best results for the longest period of time, you'll find yourself doing astigmatism control or astigmatism management on the majority of patients. And so when I do that, I have to have a reference. So I actually take a little tiny marking pen, the eye is numb, and I just make a couple of marks on the eye itself with the patient sitting upright. And it gives the patient a chance to get used to what I'm doing and having something coming close to them. Once that's done, they're wheeled into the operating room area. The nurse anesthetist will give them their I'm aware but don't care medicine. The nurses will clean the eye off with some betadine, put a drape over it, and that's when it's my time to come in. I've scrubbed, they put my gown on, my gloves, and I'll put a drape, plastic drape, on the upper and lower lids to keep the eyelashes away, and then a little device, a lid speculum, that will help to keep the eyelids open. Patients always want to know what happens if they close their eye. And they can try closing their eye, but the lid speculum will make sure that the eye stays open. The next thing that I do is I show the patient the light on the microscope, and I'll tell them that it's very bright, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And within a matter of seconds, they typically do. And then I start the procedure. And for me, it's about 5 or 10 minutes to take out a cataract and put in the new lens, the replacement lens that they're going to see with forever. And once it's done, the patients are almost universally surprised that it's over already, even though we tell them ahead of time it doesn't take more than a few minutes. So I usually tell people if your surgery's at 10, you'll probably get there about 9 and probably be on your way home by 10:30. It's really quite remarkable. And patients will say it's like nothing happened. I was worried about it, I fretted about it, but it really was nothing. It was literally minutes and I didn't feel anything, and it's like nothing was done except I can see.
There's more to come. Don't miss what's next.
As soon as you open the doors at Vision for Life, you'll see the difference. Dr. Jeffrey Horn has been the difference in thousands of people's lives that have been diagnosed with cataracts.
Experience the difference.
Don't settle for ordinary.
Do what I did. Get the best vision for life.
Cataract and LASIK surgery is my specialty. In minutes, you can achieve your best vision for life.
Call today at 615-800-2020. Again, 615-800-2020.
In less than 24 hours, Dr. Horn's patient was seen perfectly at all 3 depths. Cammie's story is truly amazing.
Well, that's probably the worst part because it's the anticipation. You're in there, I don't know, time flies, but maybe an hour or so prepping, doing the IV, because they put you just on a lightly sedated. I was awake the whole time. Of course, they monitor your blood pressure and stuff, and they put monitoring vitals. They put a solution in your eye, to keep it, but that's right before the surgery. But everybody was very nice, the staff. I had a particularly funny nurse anesthesiologist who liked to cut jokes. But you're waiting, and it's you're kind of like a flight of beers or whatever. They're kind of taking you in and out or taking people in and out. And then when it was my time to go, they kind of whisked me away. I don't remember as much this time as my first time. I think I had a little bit more anesthesia. I don't know. But wheeled in and drape you. They cover everything except your eye, and then they put some mechanism, and that sounds awful. I was worried about that prior to surgery, the thought of something clamping on my eye, but you're just kind of oblivious to it. It didn't hurt, no pain. I could hear people talking, and during this surgery, basically, my job was to focus on the light. There was some lights, I guess it was the light of the microscope or the instrument he was using, and so I just focused on that. I had my surgery less than 24 hours ago, and I suppose I could say if I didn't know I had surgery, I wouldn't physically know that I had it, except for you telling me that I had it. There's absolutely no pain. I'm still putting, with eye surgery, you're putting in a lot of eye drops, so I put in eye drops every 3 or 4 hours. But no pain at all. Yesterday, when after the surgery, it was a little cloudy because of the drops and stuff, but then you go to sleep and you're wearing an eye patch at night. Took off the eye patch and it was fine. I was a little bit nervous because in the morning I read my morning devotions and I read my Bible. And normally, before I had my surgery before I had the surgery, my left eye was very nearsighted, so I could read the fine print, but I'm holding it real close. So, because my left eye was reading and my right eye had already been corrected. So I was a little bit worried about that. This is going to be the test. Am I going to be able to read, or am I going to, because it was quite fine print. And I found that I was reading, instead of right in front of my face, I had my Bible pulled down probably 12 inches or so, and I was reading the text fine, clear as a bell. So that was amazing.
Stay tuned for the amazing results.
Dr. Jeffrey Horn and staff at Vision for Life can change the way you live.
I have better vision than I think I've ever had in my life. I have to thank Dr. Horn for that.
Once you talk to Dr. Horn and you realize his abilities, and he wants to give his patients vision for life.
After I had the surgery, I could not believe how good I could see.
I always said the cataract surgery was the best thing that ever happened to my eyes, because now I can see.
I can see so much better. Everything is clear, colors are brighter.
It's amazing to me that the colors of life have exploded because of the surgery. I've worn glasses since I was in 3rd grade. I've never seen as well as I do right now, and I'm 66 today.
Don't keep putting it off.
Get rid of the glasses.
Choose the best vision for life.
Cataract and LASIK surgery is my specialty. In minutes, you can achieve your best vision for life.
Call today at 615-800-2020. Again, 615-800-2020.
Cammie's results speak for themselves, and we were fortunate enough to get an inside view of her post-op appointment with Dr. Horn.
You know what you're seeing today?
Yeah, my right eye was 2015, my left eye, I think it was 2020.
So the left one is the left one is the one we did yesterday.
Right.
That has the PanOptix. The right one has the active focus, which is far and about 21 inches away. So that one you've had now for
About
a month.
A little bit over a month, I think.
And and your left eye was the worst eye to start with. It was always your much more nearsighted eye. So your vision with your active focus on day 1 after surgery was 20/20 minus 1 letter.
Mm-hmm.
And so your vision with the PanOptix today in the left eye is 20/20. So your vision in your right eye got better over the course of the month. I'm sure your vision in your left will as well. But remember, your left was never a good seeing eye. It was always more than twice as nearsighted as the left. So 20/20 for distance with your left eye, 20/12.5 for arm's length computer, about 24 inches away, and 20/20 what we call J1 plus for reading.
Than that. She was
well, because with the PanOptix, you get a range of vision that's almost continuous. Even though there's 3 focal points, the way the lens is designed, it makes it such that the range of vision is almost a continuous range of vision from 16 inches away to infinity and beyond.
I hope that you are now informed and inspired about your very own vision, to know that Dr. Horn and the PanOptix lens could change the way you live, and that you too could have the best vision for life. To find out if you are a candidate for this revolutionary trifocal lens, contact Vision for Life today at 615-800-2020. Again, call today to schedule an evaluation at 615-800-2020 or visit us online at bestvisionforlife.com.